Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, and live the life we love. It's Tuesday, so it's song day. You know I'm a big Bob Dylan fan. I once had mountain in the palm of my hand, rivers that ran through every day. I must have been mad, I didn't know what I had, until I threw it all away. I threw it all away. Love is all there is, it makes the world go round. Love and only love, it can't be denied. No matter what you think about it, you won't be able to do without it. Take a tip from one who has tried. So if you find someone gives you all of her love, take it to your heart, don't let it stray. One thing's for certain, you're gonna be hurting if you throw it all away. 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 Yeah. All you need is love. Beatles, Dylan, my song, all these years. Not changing it. All right, journal writing friends. What's the most significant challenge that's upcoming in your life that you're facing now? What is the most significant upcoming challenge in your life? Think about it. Hopefully it'll help you get clarity about it. Discuss it with your friends, what I call elevating the conversation, or reach out to me. You know I'm going to pong it back to you. All right. Now, I'm always seeing yoga as a mythological teaching as well as a practical teaching. But at the depth, the body is already plugged into nature. The body needs no instruction. It's being shaped by the energies of your instincts, which have had a adaptational evolutionary advantage. And when you're in accord with nature, nature yields its bounty. So there's something about just living properly is going to foster a certain kind of vitality as opposed to when you're out of tune with yourself. That's at the unconscious. You need do nothing but to allow yourself to unfold. However, there are other aspects of ourselves that if you develop or cultivate things, potential will come to the surface that otherwise would not manifest. So that's where we train and tone the body, separate from the body that needs no instruction. That's the part of you that grows your own hair, replicates your genes, knows which digestive enzyme. That's the part that you don't need to instruct at all. But there are other aspects of our own stress, and yoga would say, unless you burn out the impurities, you cannot rekindle the spark of divinity, that we're all bogged down, clogged, congested in a certain way. And tapas is their name for the rigorous discipline of demanding asanas. Yes, you can have a soft practice, there's nothing about that, but the soft practice loses its critical edge, its experimental edge. And then you don't find the frontier of what is the known and what is the unknown. How do you go beyond if you don't try? So there's restorative poses and stuff you can do just to give yourself a little limber, move the blood around, keep your nervous system calm, but that's not the ascetic, insane edge that yoga beckons you towards. Nonetheless, if you would try to do that, you have to confront when you were young and you were developing your own autonomy and you said no for the first time and draw your space, separate yourself from others who don't think the same way you do when you're a toddler, right? But if you were shamed by doing that, then you grow up with doubt about your own ability to distinguish right from wrong, which are always psychosocial. Or all of us are educated, trained, socialized to go with what our culture tells us is the proper way of unfolding. And then we don't know what the difference between real choice coming from oneself and the self-restraint that is put upon you by society. So in some way to overcome this and realize that unfortunately many people have what I call a flattened effect, like the poker face. And that comes from having had unrelenting attacks when they were younger on their vitality and their shining. that exuberance that they always try to curb in children. Often begins in our early life. But if you practice in the way I'm suggesting, you will find that you no longer have trouble getting up in the morning, no longer have trouble sleeping at night. You'll see the big picture and the reality that's beneath the seeming world of appearances. That means you may have to cut connection with everything from your past. Spiritually speaking, in the Iron John story, when the wild man takes the boy out of the castle, he tells him right away, if you come with me, you'll never see your mother and father again. But don't worry about that, because I have treasure more than you can ever need. Yeah, well, you think that's just some wild teaching? Matthew 10:37. Anybody who doesn't deny themselves and is more attached to their mother and father is not worthy of me. Wow. Pretty deep teaching. What are they really saying? Not to divorce yourself, but make your emotional connection and attachment to spirit. And then you'll have a right relationship with everybody in your family, whether they're blood kin or not. But inwardly, you have to drop everything. Tough teaching. But if you want it all, you got to give it all, they say. So remember, whenever you think about any subject, you're treating it, so to speak, for good or ill. So don't treat it with failure. Don't imitate failure by what you say to yourself. Build a monument to well-being, build a legacy to well-being. Make yourself a catalyst for the expansion of your own life, as if there's going to be a quantum leap in thinking, feeling, and acting. And in order to do that, first you have to make a little criticism. Everybody wants to tell their story and defend their position. But if you don't realize first that talking about where you are is an attempt to often justify not changing, not realizing that you're escalating resistance against change by doing that, rather than allowing what you are wanting. So imitate success, not failure, and then have a great day.